Today, from the soil of Bihar, I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go unpunished. Every effort will be made to ensure that justice is done. The entire nation is firm in this resolve. Everyone who believes in humanity is with us. I thank the people of various countries and their leaders who have stood with us in this time.
The roar of Prime Minister Modi represents the anger of every Indian. It is a message to every terrorist sympathizer. After the cowardly terrorist attack in Pahalgam, where 26 innocent people were slaughtered, including an Indian Air Force personnel, India has chosen its answer. And it's not diplomacy. It's not sermons. It's exercise Aakraman, attack mode activated. The Indian Air Force, the sword of Bharat Mata, is now roaring across the skies. Rafale, Sukhoi, Tejas, Mirage, jets moving out from multiple air bases, even the Eastern Front. Their engines are not singing, they are growling. Growling for revenge. The Indian Air Force is now practicing complex ground assault missions. Plains, mountains, day, night, every inch of the terrain mastered. Every target already marked. The ghost of Balakot hovers over Pakistan once again. And this time, it may not be just one city that gets a wake-up call. Meanwhile, deep in the Arabian Sea, the Indian Navy is writing its own warning. INS Surat, the pride of India's indigenous shipbuilding, launched a flawless missile strike. A fast, low-flying threat was annihilated in seconds by the brand new medium-range surface-to-air missile system jointly developed with Israel. 70 kilometers death radius. Precision. Zero warning. This was no test. It was a message written in fire on the water. And the Navy is furious. They missed action after Pulwama. They missed it after Balakot. This time, they're demanding their rightful share of justice. If the skies light up, so will the seas, their silence says. And across the line of control, Pakistani posts that dared to open fire are being pounded mercilessly by the Indian Army. No waiting, no warnings, no mercy. In the shadows of Bandipora, a top Lashkari Taiba commander, Al-Tat Lali, was hunted down and killed in a thunderous firefight. To other terrorists, masterminds of the Pahalgam slaughter had their houses turned into smoking craters. Their safe houses, now just ashes and memories. Rewards of 20 lakh rupees are announced for tracking down every last rat still hiding. Even Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition, said it clearly. All political parties support the government in taking any action. One nation, one voice, one mission. I believe this is the perfect time to correct the mistakes of our past. Pakistan is at its most vulnerable. Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have pushed the Pakistani army to the brink, and now, desperate for domestic approval, they're itching for a limited war with India just to rally public support. But the world is not what it used to be. The United States and Russia, yes, both, stand firmly with India. This is one of those rare moments in recent history where international lines blur in India's favor. We are with you and support you as you hunt down those responsible for this heinous attack. US spy chief Tulsi Gabbard to PM Modi on Kashmir attack. Russia urges citizens to avoid travel to Pakistan and issues advisory to its citizens over Pahalgam terror attacks, simply because they know what India will do now. And what about Pakistan's so-called stepfather, China? They're in deep economic turmoil. If India hits them with tariffs now, it could be a checkmate. They've already lost their biggest buyer in the US. Now they'll be scrambling to survive without the Indian market. And then there's the neighbor dad, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, standing with India too. What's a neighbor dad, you ask? Simple. When your kid doesn't look like your husband, but suspiciously like the guy next door. That's your neighbor dad. A concept Pakistan might understand well. Meanwhile, the West, yes, the sugar daddy of Pakistan, is also backing India in its fight against terrorism. But India is watching carefully. Which states, which media houses, which influential YouTubers and creators with massive subscriber bases are calling terrorists, militants or gunmen? Who's trying to whitewash murder? The America's Foreign Affairs Committee tweeted this, "Hey, New York Times, we fixed it for you." This was a terrorist attack, plain and simple. Whether it's India or Israel, when it comes to terrorism, the New York Times is removed from reality. We're taking notes, and we can decide what we buy or boycott from Qatar, the UK, and Canada based on how they report the truth on their state-owned media, or which private news agency allowed by the host country to do propaganda. Who's really backing the beggar state against India? Turkey? They should first deal with their own mess. Mass protests are shaking Erdogan's regime. And Canada? They were the last in the G20 to offer condolences. In fact, their opposition leader of Canada expressed grief 4.5 hours before their prime minister did. And what about Pakistan? The defense minister himself, Khwaja Asif, in a shameful viral interview, confessed, yes, Pakistan funded and supported terrorists for decades. We did the dirty work for the West.
You do admit, sir, that Pakistan has had a long history of backing and supporting and training and funding these terrorist organizations.
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
So that's your argument that...
There you go. Their own lips betray them. The Pakistan army chief, probably shaking on his own piss, staring at the Indian skies, lighting up with the roars of Rafale and Sukhois. This is not about escalation. This is about justice. The message from Bharat is simple. You touched our children. You crossed a line you cannot uncross. You wanted death. Now it's death you shall receive. Bharat rises. Bharat strikes. Exercise Aakraman has begun. The trail of terror leads straight across the border. This was not a rogue act. This was not a coincidence. The module behind the Pahalgam attack is reportedly operating under the direct command of none other than Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Saeed and his deputy Safallah, both shielded comfortably in Pakistan, orchestrating death from the shadows while hiding behind the flag of a rogue state. This is cold, calculated, state-sponsored warfare. Indian intelligence confirms it. Logistical support, tactical guidance, weapons, and strategy, all funneled from the Pakistani military and the infamous ISI. The group isn't just foreign. No, it has roots here, embedded within our overground workers, locals, who provided cover, shelter, and surveillance. And here's the question that should shake every corner of our conscience. How many of our own were involved? Even if it's just 5%, that's a national security emergency. But what if it's 15% or 65%? We don't know. And yet, amid all this, what was our administration doing? The Basran Meadow, a restricted area until the Amarnath Yatra in June, was suddenly opened by local without informing security agencies and central government on 20th April, just 2 days before the incident. Why? Who gave the order? Was this a tragic lapse or a deeper conspiracy? The Supreme Court ordered elections in Jammu and Kashmir to be held by 30th September 2024. Yes, the elections were held. But we ask, my lord, with all respect, can we afford to trust the same political forces that stood by during the ethnic cleansing of Hindus in 1991? Can we gamble our security and our future? The Supreme Court mandated elections. Fine. But will the court now take responsibility now that trust is betrayed again? Will it stand accountable? And to those in government and media who celebrated normalcy, where's that normalcy now? Can you face the families of the fallen and say, all is well? Because all is not well. The enemy is not just at the gates, the enemy is among us.